Um, Chase Briscoe gets it done, guys. Come down to typical Pocono fuel strategy. I love James Small on the radios. Guys were effed on fuel, like he plain and simple on that. So it played out for them though. Was able to make it work. Denny Hamlin finished second. Ryan Blaney finished third. It seemed like those guys were just kind of stuck. Um, we'll see how everybody does. Well, what everybody thinks. Not everybody does. Jeez Louise. It's been a long weekend. Me and Dad were at the dirt track on Saturday out till about almost one thing by the time we got home. So a little foggy right now. So, but anyways, Dylan, we'll start with you. Give us your thoughts on what you saw of Pocono and Chase Briscoe's win. Finally, after all them polls, he finally got a win.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my main takeaway with this is we've been seeing him getting a few poles, and he hasn't been able to pull it off and seal the deal, I guess you could say. So today, it didn't get the pole, but he was able to close out and get a win for Joe Gibbs finally.
Yeah, it's good to. I think it was good to see him finally get a win. Kind of justifies their Joe Gibbs position and putting him in that car. Even though, not to say the car doesn't have speed, we've seen that in qualifying, but capitalizing on the speed they haven't been able to do. So, Dad, your thoughts on Chase Briscoe getting this done, holding off Denny, one of the best 7-time winner at Pocono in that doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think the history of Joe Gibbs at that track. This is like their 18th win there or something like that, 18th or 19th. Um, but also, I think Chase Briscoe said it himself. He knew coming out of Stuart Haas that they got him for a reason. Out of that group, he was one of the he got the best ride out of that the people that left Stuart Haas, and so he knew he had to perform, and he needed to get a win for them. I know in the polls and all that, he's been running. He's fast. He's got the speed and everything else, and they put a team effort together today. Even though it's an old fuel mileage race, but that's what Pocono sometimes it comes down to. And it's not like the cars are side by side racing and everything else, and that's what we enjoy. But sometimes you're glued to it just to see if that car's going to run out of gas. I know that's you know it is what it is there, but there was some tangles. I think Kyle Busch got in a wreck, started something with got into the 38, I believe, and the 20 got involved. The 88 spun, the 10 spun. A couple little things there, a couple brake problems I think also through the day, but kind of your typical Pocono race.
Yeah, yeah, and we did see the brake issues with. I know catching up. Hey, an awesome feature that Prime does is the rapid replay or rapid catch up or something like that. Was able to get all that. We've seen a couple things with the brakes. We've seen some stuff. Hosevar had a great save off turn 3.
Yes, he
He
did.
back he that wall. Thank goodness the wall was there. He it definitely caught him. But no, I seen that and Riley Herbst getting into the wall, Bubba Wallace and his issues, Michael McDowell with his issues. Kind of is going to tighten up that playoff towards the backside there with all the new with Chase Briscoe being another new winner. So it's going to kind of tighten that up a little bit that we've seen. But Dylan, as far as typical Pocono, still tough to pass. Kind of seems like in the runs, tire didn't seem to fall off as much. I know they were saying they were running their fastest laps about 9-10 laps into a run. What are your thoughts on that with the tire and the passing still being tough, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, coming down there at the end with Hamlin trying to chase down Briscoe, it was like as soon as he got within 2 or 3 car lengths of him, maybe 4 car lengths, it just all of a sudden car would get tight, and the way that that was happening, it just made me think, how are you supposed to get a run on somebody and actually be able to successfully pass them? Because Blaney's right there behind Hamlin, and he's not going for any passes either. Even though Hamlin was kind of backing up to Blaney, he would lose ground on Briscoe, back up to Blaney, and you would think, okay, Blaney has an opportunity here, but he can never do anything. So I don't know if his car was also doing the same thing, where as soon as he gets within 3 or 4 car lengths of Hamlin, his car just completely goes away on him. Um, I think you know, to fight that, unless you have a ton of restarts where you can gain ground, you're not going to be able to fight that type of thing successfully. So, that's more of an aero battle, not really tire stuff. If the tires are wore out, I guess it could provide that opportunity for people to slip and slide. Maybe more opportunity for drivers to mess up, not hit their marks, etc. But um, tire wear wise, I don't know. I think we all kind of want that Bristol moment where we just want to see a complete crap show, and we don't want to go all the way to that. If Bristol is the 100% on that dial range, then we probably want something that's at that 80% level. I think that's what most people are probably looking for, is that 80% dial with Bristol being 100.
Yeah, but as far as on the scale of good Pocono races, we've seen this happen before. This is would y'all say, Dylan? You can go first on this, and then Dad. Would you say this was a good? It kept you kind of captivated at the end of kind of entertaining. I know Junior at one point goes, "I am entertained," like that on the broadcast, which I thought was kind of funny. But what'd you think of the race? The like the final portion. Obviously, Pocono can be boring for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different approaches to this, right? So if you're a NASCAR fan that knows what to expect from Pocono, um, you could get that excitement out of this race. If uh, Briscoe, we're coming down the line. Briscoe supposedly is a half a lap short, or maybe a lap short of fuel, right? And he's starting to save. You click a few laps away. Briscoe is now a half a lap short. It's kind of like that internal countdown timer that's going on. You're like, okay, we got to wait until the final lap to see if this guy actually saved enough fuel. But at the same time, you have Denny trying to close the gap. Supposedly he's good on fuel, so he doesn't really have to save like Briscoe is, right? The announcers, they're trying to make it more exciting for the fan at home, because the way that they bring it to the audience is, oh, Hamlin, he might be just kind of saving his stuff here, like he's gaining time. Maybe he's trying to pounce right now that he knows Briscoe is saving this and that. So it's kind of like a big old cat and mouse game. For me personally, I was entertained by the strategy of it to see if he was going to make it or not. Um, I was thinking that he wasn't going to make it with the way that they talked and sounded, and all the conversations that they had around it in the booth. But so I mean, yeah, for me personally, I was entertained on the strategy side of it. No, it's not side by side racing, people leaving each other just enough room to wreck themselves, something like that for your past Pocono races that we may think of, with the Hamlin and Larson, Hamlin and Chastain, and all that stuff. Um, but for a Pocono race, when I go into a Pocono race, I expect, uh, I'm not expecting, too wide racing the entire day. And coming down to a fuel strategy end, that's, I don't know, that's Pocono to me. But the way that it came down to it seemed exciting just with all the way that it was delivered.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Dad, your thoughts on this?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Come to Pocono, somebody's out front in the waning laps, somebody's running somebody down because somebody's saving fuel, and you kind of had that today. I did like it though when Junior, um, when Denny was catching, he caught him pretty good coming out of tunnel turn going into turn three on one lap, and the next time he went through the tunnel turn, he kind of lost all that back, and I think I forgot who. It wasn't Steve. It was the other guy that was talking, and he said he must have caught something here and there, and Junior goes, nah, he just overaggressive. He was overaggressive on that one and missed the turn. He called him out on it.
Yeah,
And but I think that's why I like him in the booth. You know, but that is the racing that we've come to know there at that track and come to expect. But it is kind of exciting to. I mean, we all watched the last lap. Trust me, we wanted to see if Chase was going to run out. You know,
Yeah.
but it kept you kind of glued, and they do a good job. You know, the announcers, you know, Junior and them, they do a good job in keeping you in it. You know, in it to the very end. Um, but kind of like a, you know, and I will say this was their last race at Prime, so I'm hoping that we see more of them next year. And I think there's been a lot of complaints and everything else about that, but I think they have raised the bar on their what they show and everything else, and keeping you into the races.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got Logan here on his thoughts. King NASCAR. He said he thought it was compelling. Prime helped tell the story. Some drivers were able to drive through the field, and others could not. Overall, he said he gives it 8 out of 10, which is good. That's hey. Hopefully, the Gluck Bowl reflects that because I think there were several drivers that were able to. I think Blaney had to do it twice. Keselowski did it, maybe I think also. I can't remember if there was another one, but those two are the ones I remember that had to drive up through the field. I know I can't remember what happened to Byron, but I know me and Dad were talking there before the show. It's like he got stuck. He was up there in the beginning, and somehow he got in the back, got stuck there. So, but I appreciate Mr. Logan coming on and talking to us here. But I don't know. I thought, and talking about the Steve Letarte thing and Junior thing there, Dad. What you were talking about was he's like, he goes, oh, he went high to get over the bumps there, and then Junior's like, no, but I think he missed it. I think he missed it
Yeah, and
right there.
it was delivered just like that too. You know, so
Yeah,
that's what was funny
yeah.
about it. Kind of
Yeah.
called him out.
Yes, and speaking of Brad K, like Mr. Logan said here, he said he felt bad for him, but with that pit road thing with the he come down
Yep.
when it was closed and everything like that. So, and then I think he come down when it was closed, and then he called out on that last caution, on one of the last cautions there, by staying out a lap too late on that. So kind of got screwed. Brad, I mean, do they have speed? RFK showed a little bit today.
Yep.
Priest was in the top 10. Busher
Busher.
was up there till that pit stop late. Really didn't cycle him out where he needed to be. But other than that, I think he had a bad restart too. But the RFK's cars have speed, and I know we've talked about it. Brad usually is the one that doesn't have the winning speed. But today seemed like he had a good car, just couldn't capitalize, had some mistakes there. But I know we're going into Atlanta. I'm not trying to get too far down the road yet. We still got some Pocono stuff to go over, but could we see this maybe got to watch out for maybe next week? Y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, all three RFK cars finished in the top 10 again today, regardless of their struggles, you know. So they were able to bounce back. You got Busher in fourth, Priest in eighth, and then Keselowski was in ninth. So if anybody, I just want to see Keselowski get a win for his RFK team, really.
I believe on our pit road picks, somebody said that Blaney and Busher would be the top fours. I'm just stating that, so we can go back and watch the footage later.
This guy loves to shove it in the face over here. Hey, I will say Pit Road Picks is going to be fun this week, so everybody tune in on Thursday night with that because Dad's gonna showboat a little bit since I think he won this week. So, but anyways, another topic. Let's get into this. I know we talked about this, and as fans of said guy, Logan probably not going to like this. He's not a Hendrick fan, but Hendrick kind of, not saying he struggled on speed, but Chase Elliott was the top finishing Hendrick car this week. So something is going on in the water over there. It's 2 weeks in a row where he's been the best. Yeah. So he's best driver over at Hendrick for 2 weeks at least. Chase Elliott fans are rejoicing right now. Alan Gustafson is the best thing on planet Earth, probably. But so I still want to see, does anybody seem to think that Larson's seems like he's kind of didn't qualify well, kind of struggling speed wise, and then I'm going to call it the Indy curse, man. I'm telling you, ever since the last 2 years with this, it kind of bit him. I know maybe last year, maybe not, but he did miss the regular season championship by 1 point. and it seems like he's not going to be able to close that gap as he sits 54 points back. Did make up 13 points today. But Dylan, your thoughts? Larson lacking speed. I know me and you, we're all three fans of Larson here, so don't sound too much like a homer, but give us some real talk here.
So, first off, would you have ever thought of the day where you see Chase Elliott as the top performing Hendrick car and your first thought is, that's weird. Well, I wonder what's going on over there.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely would have thought that.
but yeah, I mean, I know you've been riding that Indy curse, uh, which it seems like it's a real thing at this point.
Yeah.
But he didn't qualify well. None of the Hendrick cars really qualified well. I think Elliott was the top Hendrick car for qualifying, or no, was he? I know the top Hendrick car was, I think, like 18th or 19th in qualifying, something
That
like
would have
that.
been, yeah, that would have been, if that was 18th. I'm looking at the thing now. I think it's 18th was Chase Elliott. So let me see.
Yeah, I think he was the top one in qualifying.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So
That's wild.
I don't know. They had a struggled type of weekend overall for the entire team. I mean, race pace, apparently they did okay because Elliott found his way up to 5th and Larson in 7th, and Bowman almost got a top 10. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, looking at top 10 real quick, keep you on your thought here. Top 10, looking at top 10, there's only 2 Chevrolets in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the top 3 Chevys for the race are all Hendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them wrecked on when the Kyle Busch wrecked.
Kyle Busch, talking about a guy that's having just a terrible time over at RCR after the first season because he had 3 wins his first year. Now it's all been downhill ever since then. So I don't. Is there any? Well, first of all, let's finish the Larson conversation and get to Busch. But Dad, you got anything on Larson?
Well, it wasn't as much on Larson. I was wanting to talk. I mean, where's Waldo? That's 2 top 5s in a row, right?
This guy, he's doing the pit road picks thing over here. That's what he's doing.
In 2 different countries.
No. I'm just saying he's going to walk into the competition meeting this weekend with the gavel and the microphone, and he's going to want to run the show because he's the best finishing Hendrick cars, and he's going to tell Larson what he needs to do starting now, I guess. But because he ain't seen that, he ain't been given the gavel in a long time. So anyway,
all right. You just want to say you're going to call it? You just want to say it real
well,
quick?
no, he's you put him on the top 15, and he deservingly so. He's been finishing 15th. Now he's got 2 5s. He's gonna think he's king. You know what? So hope he gets a 36 next week, wherever they're at.
At Atlanta, it could happen. He could win too.
Could.
You never know. Yeah. So,
but
I don't know.
But as far as Larson,
yeah.
He's gonna battle out of his funk. I mean, I don't think they had a car. They didn't have a car in qualifying. Obviously, they didn't have the speed in qualifying, but there's 3 in the top 11. So, and the other one had speed because he come from the back and he was in the top 10 in the first 2 stages. So they all had speed. They just wasn't on qualifying day. So I don't know if it's long run speed they had or what, but I don't think Larson's going anywhere.
I didn't. That was the question. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, not that. I think you'll see him challenging for that regular season championship. He made up 40 points in 3 races. We've seen that happen before. So but we also seen him lose 60 or 70 points in about 4 races too. So, but yeah, he'll turn it on.
Yeah, we got Atlanta, then Chicago. So got. Draft
maybe after Chicago he'll turn it on.
Yeah, I was going to say. The bad thing is he's going to have to be on point to catch up because 54 points. I mean, he's going to have to be on point to not lose any ground because Denny's 78 points behind Byron, so he's not that far back. So I don't know.
Well, that's funny because Denny's 78 points. I mean, he must have been real close because he didn't race last week.
Well, Larson didn't gain anything, and then Byron had a great run, so it's not like they were been able to extend too much there.
Yeah.
So, but 24 points. He's only 24 back of Larson. Dylan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Elliott actually fell a spot in the standings.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to ask for a recount.
Denny taking this race off is going to blow people's minds because it's Denny somehow will win by 1 point this regular season championship. And so it's going to be very funny that he took a race off like Larson did, and except he's going to win it. So, yeah, that'd be funny. All right, before we go to the Kyle Busch, wanted to get y'all's opinion on that. Mr. Logan says, when Chase Elliott smiles pre-race, he has a better results during the race. So, hey, never pay attention to that. Good catch. We'll have to keep on that and see what that goes on.
Wonder if he did a post-race interview.
I don't know. I didn't stick around post-race long enough to see if he did or not. So,
Wonder if Mr. Logan will know on that.
Yeah, Logan, tell us if you seen that there. The post-race thing on that. Kyle Busch, terrible. Got in that wreck. Not looking too hot. I think he finished. Ended up finishing 20. Come back to finish 20. Started 26. So he did go forward technically. But any Dylan thoughts on Kyle Busch's season so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty horrible, like a sinking ship, really. I'm surprised because they had a lot of speed. I felt like they had a lot of speed last year. And I mean, they got a win, didn't they? I think at least one.
Not last year.
No, not last year.
No. Yeah, they did. Not Kyle, but the 3-car did.
Oh yeah.
What you want to
Richmond thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you want to call that a win or what? I
mean, but
they took something from him.
No, this year, I mean, there's no speed there. I always keep every race. I keep hoping that I want to pick him for top 10, something like that. But it's too unpredictable. I feel like there's going to be a race here soon where he kind of breaks out and he's going to fight for like a top 5, but you just don't know what it's going to be. So I don't know. It just not a good year overall, obviously.
Yeah. When it's wild to look at this, and we've seen kind of maybe towards the end of his run at Joe Gibbs where there was a dip, maybe COVID, probably right around COVID when they stopped practicing as much. It's kind of where we've seen this dip in Kyle.
Yeah.
And being able to work on the car and everything like that. And I'll say that, and that the results are there as far as his downward trend is been ever since then. The lack of practice really hurts him, I believe. Because that's, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't need a lot of practice. They were able to fix stuff, like for him being able to find stuff out. A lot of people did because back then we had almost 3 hours of practice a weekend, so they were definitely able to figure stuff out. But to see that just in the last 8 races or something like that, I think what I'm looking at here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 races. He's only has 1 top 10 finish. And that's kind of tough to see Kyle Busch at that when we've seen him at his old level back when he was at Joe Gibbs. And I know there's a difference in quality of ride between the two, but you figured with this car, that it would bring that group back a little bit, but we just kind of haven't seen that out of Kyle Busch. I know he got 3 wins a couple years ago. He had one at California, one at Talladega. I can't remember where the third one was at, but it was kind of a string of 3 different tracks or something like that. So I don't know. It's going to be tough to see his career. I don't know if he'll retire or when he'll retire, but it's going to be tough knowing where we've seen him at, winning 200 plus races, having the most races, wins in everything. Hopefully Dad doesn't argue with that one. Dylan, you'll have to be on that show to moderate when me and Dad get in that argument about him having the most wins in NASCAR period over the King and everything like that. So yes, they are different, but they're the same at the same time.
It's gonna be a short show.
It's gonna be tough to see him go out at RCR, and he is signed on for another year. To me, it sucks to see him in that. And it's not even that bad of a ride. It's just his luck and everything is where it's gone to. So, anyways, rant over. Dylan or Dad, y'all can go either one. Whoever wants to talk about it.
I feel like he wants to push for at least one more good year. He wants to get one good, solid competitive year before he thinks about any type of retirement or anything like that. I feel like that's probably where his head is at right now. I mean, I don't know the guy, but that's what I would imagine. And that's just kind of drawing that conclusion from what I have perceived as his competitive nature. But it's tough to just kind of walk away with your head down, like what he's been doing. Or with the finishes that he's been having, it's hard just to say, okay, well, I guess this is it, type of thing, if he has the opportunity to push forward. But yeah, that. Anyways, I think that's kind of where that's at.
Yeah. What you got, old man?
No, I think along that same lines. He wants to, he's a competitive person, but it almost sounds like, I'm not going to say it in the wrong way. I don't want to be that person that says this, but it almost sounds like he found peace in something. I think it's because of his kid coming up, maybe that in racing he'll always have that and so forth. But if he would have had this luck, and kind of think about going back to the Joe Gibbs, he was salty, where maybe it was a maturity thing or whatever, that he would just act like a what and everything. But I mean, I've seen him before this race or the last 2 days. He was even, I think he was poking fun at Junior about, oh, that's just a parody show, him being on the crew chief box for the 88 and the Xfinity race, and he's not really calling the shots and everything else. And I don't know if that was the case or whatever, but I think he had that funness about him with that. And in the way he's answering some of the stuff, the questions and all that is, it's not the one word answer, and stuff like that he used to give. I think something's got him going in a different direction. There's something bigger looming out there that he's a part of. I think that you know he does want another. I think he really does want another. He definitely wants a win. Listening to him and Denny, on the podcast they were on, he wants to win because he wants to put some more ground between him and Denny.
Yeah,
because he thinks Denny's going to catch him and so forth. But he still's got them 2 championships over Denny. But he's very competitive. But I think he's really changed in his mindset and things. And it'd be interesting to see what that looks like once he gets out of the driver's seat and seeing what he does with Brexton.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a little bit of it. It's kind of like, not say his heart's not in it, but it's kind of like he's got other focuses to be there with. Not saying he doesn't focus on his job, but at the end of the day, anyways, he could probably say, all right, 10-4, I'm done. I'm gonna go hang out with Brexton. So, but I don't know. A lot going on there. A lot maybe getting fixed on the car. Hopefully, bring some. I say upgrades, using the Formula One term there, but maybe some adjustments or something like that later on. So, but hopefully we'll see some speed out of them. Moving on, does anybody, Dylan? This is we'll get into the portion now where anybody that caught your eye today, finish wise, that you want to highlight.
Well, obviously Briscoe finally pulled off a win, right? So that's going to be something that sticks out. But kind of looking over top 10 here, beyond just that, I'm not surprised at the RFK cars, but the only one that jumps out really is John Hunter Nemechek in 6th.
Yeah, great run for him, and he battled on that restart there. I think I want to say that last restart with Larson and all them. Larson kind of, not say there. I'm not trying to harp on him, but telling you, Larson on the restarts, everywhere he picked was the worst spot to pick. So, but in that sense, John Hunter Nemechek was able to take advantage of it and get stuck there. Not say stuck there, but able to outrun him, obviously. But it seemed kind of once they got in line on that last restart, once it all got single file, it's kind of where they ran. So, but yeah, no, it was good to see him in there in the top 10 there. Dad, anybody for you stick out?
No, it was Nemechek, and I had him in my fantasy lineup, and so I was surprised with 10 laps to go that I turned it on and he was running sixth, and so he got me some points. So, but he's, we started off the year talking, he had like 3 top 10s or 3 top 12s. Kind of started off like Gregson did the year before, and we talked about him a little bit then, but he's hammering out some good finishes, over there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I would say Ryan Priest, but Ryan Priest, he's no stranger to the top 10 this year. And like you said, Dylan said earlier, none of them RFK cars are strangers to the top 10 this year, speed wise. Right. It was good to see Austin Cindric get back in the top 10. I know it kind of seems like he's been disappearing lately a little bit. Yeah, as far as that third Penske car, that kind of just is out there. I know he's got the win at Talladega earlier this year. Probably should have won at Atlanta if it wasn't for Larson getting wrecking him a little bit there. But I don't know. I Cindric kind of getting back up there. I've tried to pick him in the last couple of picks or justify picking him in the last couple of pit road picks, but maybe he's got some speed back there. Joey Logano finishing 16th was not what I had in my bag there. I thought that was a top 10 easy right there, but I guess wasn't meant to be. Christopher Bell wrecking on the backstretch. Didn't have that in the cards there either. Just looking down the thing here.
Our dark horse didn't do too good.
Who?
Our dark horse didn't do too good for us.
Dark horse was all over the place. Oh, Hocevar, every 5 seconds I felt like he was on being highlighted by the guys on the booth. It's just like he's making moves, not the right ones, but moves. You know what I'm saying, like that. But it was he seemed like he was all over the place. And I think Logan was saying in the chat, talking about he said Stenhouse flipped off Hocevar or something like that, making a joke about and said it only happened in his mind. So I don't know. Maybe Mr. Logan wants to see Stenhouse deck Hocevar in the face. But I don't know. Hocevar was all over the place today. So not good on our pit road picks. Dark horse pick there. So yeah, I don't know. But Mr. Logan, if you are hearing us, who was your notable, other than John Hunter Nemechek, person that you would highlight in this race, or not highlight somewhere they finished? They should have not. But it looks like Shane Van Gisbergen is back to normal, spinning out and wrecking and finishing in the back of the pack. So well-deserved playoff spot. So, but anyways, Dad, what you got?
I got somebody we need to highlight. I can't remember what car, what team he was, but they were pitting in front of Allmendinger's. And when Allmendinger come in a little hot and hit the tire guy, the tire flew right into the rear tire changer, I believe, of the guy in front. Knocked him down. You can tell he jammed his hand in the gun and everything else. And he got up and went on to the rear tire. So that's a shock. Actually, I thought for some reason I thought it was a front tire changer, and I thought he got hit in the head where he was going to the wrong car. But I think it was the team in front of him car, and so he ought to get something besides some Tylenol or something, ibuprofen for the night. On that, that's a tough character.
Yes.
That was sure. SVJ.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I know. I can't remember if we hit it on it. I don't know if we hit it on pit road picks, or I know we didn't hit it on the after the checkered, but Logan said Ryan Priest continues to impress him, so that's good. That's something everybody's seeing apparently. So I appreciate your comment there, Mr. Logan. Looking at going over to points right now before we get out of here. Points right now for regular season. William Byron is 54 points above Larson. Then you got Denny Hamlin, 78 points. Chris Bell 79 points, so that'll be a good battle right there. Well, Chase Elliott 80 points, so you got 3 drivers within 2 points, so that'll be a good little battle. 6th place Ryan Blaney at 120 points back. Seventh is Tyler Reddick, which he's going to be the new Where's Waldo before shortly, because all I seen him was he was in front of the leader there late in the race. Trying to stay, I guess, another lap down. He's 133 points back. 9th is Chase Briscoe, 173 points back. He locks himself in today into the playoffs with that win. He's sitting in 9th right now. Joey Logano is 187 points out. 11th is Chris Buescher at 202 points out. Bubba Wallace is sitting 12th at 211 points back. And this is where it's going to start getting tight with all them if people keep winning here. Right around this area between, I'd say from Buescher on back. After Bubba Wallace, you got 13th. It's Alex Bowman, about 220 back. Ryan Preece, 240 back. Trying to think right now. Austin Cindric is 15th. 16th, Josh Berry. So right around there. That's regular season points. So I think right now all your playoff people are, it's going to be William Byron to Alex Bowman, top 13, and then it jumps to Austin Cindric, Josh Berry. They got wins. And then Shane Van Gisbergen all the way down to 31st. Is going to be your last playoff person there. So just going to go over Van Gisbergen places. And I know he's new. He's learning these things. I know he had only a year in Xfinity. Go back to Talladega. Talladega 29th, 22nd at Texas, 20th at Kansas, 14th at Charlotte, 25th at Nashville, 18th at Michigan. He won at Mexico, and then a 31st in Pocono. Does that sound like a guy deserving of being in the playoffs to y'all, Dylan?
I know you're trying to bait me into this right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I think we talked about this last week, or maybe on Pit Road Picks, but NASCAR made the rule of you win and you're in, right? So they kind of started this, they created this, so that's what it is. The rule before this, I think, was top 30. And for whatever reason they did away with it, brought that in. I've heard Larson discussion come up about something about last year, but that doesn't really make sense to me when people have talked about that argument, bringing the whole Coke 600 up to play and all that. But yeah, I don't know. You could bring that rule in to try and get that one-time winner. Or to me, what I think about is like a road course win, or like that one-off Daytona 500 type thing going on, or at like a Daytona or Talladega thing. Yeah. And if you really think into this, right, you have a Daytona race coming up, but what they're advertising Daytona is as some excitement race where there's going to be a surprise winner that might get their chance into the playoffs. If you start introducing this, okay, you gotta be top 25 or top 30 to be eligible for this, right? To win, be eligible to get into the playoffs. It might take away from their excitement perspective of, oh man, anybody in the field could mark their way into this playoff right now if they win at Daytona in August. Is it still the cutoff race?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The last race. Yeah.
So I think if they take that away and they add the rule back, it might take a little bit of that excitement away for NASCAR, for promoting, all the marketing side of it. But I'm a very strong fan of the old point system. So I'm probably all for like a top 30 rule top
Okay.
25, top 30 rule. I'll have to go on that side of the fence because I'm a very strong, like I said, I'm a very strong fan of the old point system. Whatever points you accumulate is whatever points you accumulate. I don't know about the whole playoff thing. I get it that you're trying to make it more exciting, give everyone a second chance, I guess, if you want to say that. But yeah. And on top of that, very big fan of trying to get into some type of 3-race playoff between the final 4
Yes.
as a compromise, because you're not going to go back to the old system, right? You'll probably never go back to that. So you got to do some type of compromise, and I feel like I'm kind of in line with that type of compromise right now with the whole point structure.
Okay. Hey,
I know
NASCAR's going. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that's very long-winded to get to a simple point, but I feel like I want to say all of that though to encompass everything.
Yeah. No, I got you. Before we get to that, NASCAR's going to throw out a big thing. They're like, guys, we're going to expand it. And instead of 1 race, we're going to go all the way. We're going to expand it to 10 races. It's never been done before. We're going to do a 10-race playoff. It's going to be fantastic. And then everybody's going to get mad and be like, yo, we had this before. Why'd you go away from it if you're just going to come right back to it? But also, they got this playoff idea, 1-race playoff idea from Cars back in 2006, by the way. Just let you know that. I've been watching that with the old kiddo, and it's the exact same playoff. They're tied going into the last race. Winner wins the race, but they tie. Then they go on to a special playoff race. Winner wins the championship. They've had this whole scheme. Disney gave it to them back in the day, all the way back then. So, anyways, I digress. Dad, what you got?
Now I'm on y'all keep talking and I forget what I was going to say, but now I'm coming up thinking that marketing person, with NASCAR, that he's told to go home and come up with a scenario. So he's in there watching a movie with his kids and goes, "I got it," and he's been the marketing director ever since. He's living high on the hog. But I forgot the original question. I'm sorry.
Top 30 in points. Top 30.
Yeah. And I had a thing, SVG's got 3, evidently from year that he's got 3 finishes inside the top 20 that you named off there.
Yeah.
But just like we said, I think Thursday or last week with Dylan on the top 25, top 30, it's a must have. I think the reason SVG's here, not to say any other thing that's wrong or different or a bad business plan or anything else, but whoever he drives for probably hired him because he says, hey, he's a road course ringer. We got, 6 races, I guess, 5 or 6 road course races. We're going to get locked into what we got to do is win one. We're in. And like we seen Ty Dillon say last year when they took the win away from him at Richmond, it cost him about $3 million. So it's that value that winning a road course makes. No matter if he goes out in the first round, it don't matter. They're locked into the top 16 points payout, and that's worth money. And so it's a good business plan if you're that. But there's no really long term championship aspirations, I don't think, for SVG because there's not 9 road course races in the final 10 races.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in a conversation with Logan over here. He said Chick Hicks. Chick Hicks' slogan was "Ka-chigga, ka-chigga." I've watched way too much Cars lately. I apologize. Anyways, but yes, no, and like you said, it's all about the money payout. Yes, they're not going to go far in the playoffs, more than likely. How many times have we seen the road course ringer thing play out with a Cup Series team hiring a road course guy, Marcus Ambrose, AJ Allmendinger, all that, to get into, what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the further you make it in the points, the more money you get. So, yes, I know Logan said that he said he doesn't really worry about the top 30, he said, because he said the most likely won't make it out of the first round, which is fair. But it is all about that money payout, like you were talking about there, big man. But yeah, anyways, Anybody got anything else before we get out of here? Going to Atlanta next week, 7:00 Saturday night. So don't miss that next week. It's when the old schedule is. It'll be on TNT to start their first string of 5 races. We'll have the playoff thing that they got. I didn't see if there was a final seeds on that whole thing yet. I haven't seen that. So we'll see the summer little shootout thing they got here for $1 million. But it looks like the next couple races for their TNT are going to be. It's Echo Park Speedway. It's throwing me off. It's Atlanta. You got Chicago Street Course, Sonoma. God Almighty, this is going to suck. Well, maybe not Sonoma for Larson, but Dover, and then you got Indianapolis. So maybe might be 2 wins in there for Larson somewhere. Maybe. I know Logan's not going to want to hear that, but Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, so I feel like half the races between now and the playoffs is road courses. Just looking at the schedule here. I think there's like 4 of them, but next week Atlanta. You said Saturday night.
Saturday night.
So that's different. Saturday night in Atlanta. So I don't know. I'll be watching it. So just a short track super speedway. Short track super speedway race.
There you go.
And
it's some type of speedway race. I don't know how you even classify that anymore.
I had the schedule pulled up here.
It'd be interesting to see if it gets any greasier since it's gotten hotter.
Maybe. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking to see that. It's been like a super speedway race because they're so locked down. Let them start sliding around a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, Dad really thinks that the handle and it could. I know where you're going with that. Is that grip getting out of there? Is what you're saying on the racetrack?
After time, that grip should start getting away from them. Start working on some tires.
When they repaved Atlanta, this is with the new mixture, right? I think Atlanta was the one that they used it.
I know it had the self-draining thing in it. So, but yeah, it was supposed to be some type of new blend that they used as far as.
So, my point was, asking that is, it's supposed to age twice, I don't know, twice as fast or time and a half or something like that. So, we'll see. What is this? The third year or second year racing on this configuration, this asphalt?
That'd be third. Because I think 2022. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it'll change too much from earlier this year, right? But I don't know. We'll see if it's any different. I think next year you may see it a little bit of a different play out versus this year.
Well, if it's as hot next Saturday night as it was last night in Waycross, it might make a little difference. But it hasn't the time started falling off just a little bit? I mean, haven't they been going back and seeing that the speeds falling off just slightly year after year on that pavement?
Well, I know that the handling has gone away faster on these as of the last couple of races. It's not as balls out as it was. Atlanta's a tornado magnet. That's pretty funny. No one's going to call it Echo Park Speedway. It's always going to, just like Logan, it's Atlanta Motor Speedway. It will always be that. Yeah. So, anyways, on that. And then just going to go over the schedule, the summer schedule here. All right, Chicago, Sonoma, Dover, Indianapolis. Dad, you asked. I didn't ask you this question. What do you think, Larson? How many wins you think could get in here? At least 2, maybe. He's good at most of them.
I'm thinking 2. I'm thinking 2 more. I can't remember what we picked, either 4 or 6 for him for the year. He's got 3 now, so probably 2 more.
2 more, yeah. And then once you get
past, it's on the low end.
Yeah. Hey, I'm shooting for 10, but that's probably not going to happen. After Indianapolis, they go to Iowa, another freaking road course at Watkins Glen, and then you got 2 Saturday nights back to back, Richmond and Daytona. So there's a couple Saturday nights starting this week, and then Richmond's, and then Daytona, and then they got another one later on. Bristol night race is a Saturday night. So
you're shooting for 10 wins for Larson?
No, not. I'm hoping for 10 wins, not shooting for 10 wins.
Oh, okay. I was about to say Pit Road Network's going to have to implement a drug testing policy if that's the case.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Pretty funny. So, all right, cool. I think that's it for this. Unless y'all got anything else.
I was just looking. It looks like I'm looking through the schedule, but there's only one road course in the playoffs, and that is the Roval in Charlotte.
Yeah,
Just thought that was a good point to bring up.
Was it last year they had Watkins Glen or something like that in there? They had moved one in there or something.
Yeah.
Is it in the first? Is it in the first group or the second group?
Roval's in the second.
Okay, so SVG won't see it. Okay.
More than likely not.
Yeah, because it's like the 6th race and something like that.
Yeah, 6th race. The kicker this year in the playoffs is Talladega being in the 3rd round, which those guys, they just want it. They're testing it, man. I swear they're just testing it. So
I don't like super speedways being a cutoff race in the playoffs.
Oh, terrible.
That's just from like a team perspective, driver perspective. I don't know. I don't like it from that. I know they're trying to create that TV stuff, but
yeah.
Well,
you mean are you saying the media dictates the NASCAR?
Saying that they dictate the NASCAR schedule?
Man,
that's like the marketing guy.
That's two of you up for that's 2 of you up for testing.
Marketing guy came in and said, "Hey, you'll never believe what I saw Lightning McQueen do last night. We got to implement this."
Oh, he must have watched Cars 2 when they had the European thing. They had to go on the road course on that. So Cars 3 is going to be wild when he gets there. So there's dirt tracks involved. Oh, wait, we've already been there. We've already done that already. Oh, man. So, all right. Anyways, thanks for coming on, Dylan. Thanks for coming on, Dad. Mr. Logan, we've had a great time here, buddy. Hopefully come on next week after next week's show well, man, I don't know. It's Saturday night next time. Maybe we'll have to do it on Sunday still. Maybe we'll hopefully be at a racetrack hopefully next Saturday. So, but anyways, hey Dylan, if you're free, you want to come out to Altec, you can come out there and shoot with us there, buddy. So
what you got racing out there? Just the normal
slate,
604, 602, all that.
Yeah. 604, 602, and all that. So.
Ain't it everything plus the juice boxes? Ain't this all the classes?
Yeah, be prepared to be there till about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Bring an egg sandwich with you for breakfast, because it'll might be there a while.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, we're out of here. Done. Kaput. Chase Briscoe wins Pocono. We're on to Atlanta, or Echo Park Speedway. Definitely want to forget that. Yeah, Echo Park Speedway. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Logan, for coming on. Dylan, Dad, it was a great time. Everybody, be safe. Have a great week. Peace.
God bless.